Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're saddling up and riding back in time to the American Old West, a land of sprawling frontiers, rugged cowboys, and legends that still echo through the canyons. But beyond the tales of gunfights and gold rushes lies some of history's most fascinating and enduring mysteries. So grab your hat, because we're about to dig deep into the unsolved secrets of the Wild West. Our first stop is the Superstition Mountains of Arizona, home to the legend of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine. The story goes that a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz discovered a motherlode of gold so rich it would make a man a king. He supposedly shared the secret of its location on his deathbed in 1891, but his clues were cryptic, leaving a trail of mystery that has lured treasure hunters for over a century. Thousands have searched for this legendary mine, with some even losing their lives to the harsh desert terrain or, as some legends whisper, to the curse that protects the gold. Despite countless expeditions and tantalizing clues, the Lost Dutchman's mine remains just that. Is it a real, undiscovered fortune, or just a tall tale spun from the desert heat? The mountains aren't talking. Next, we turn to one of the most famous outlaws of all time, Billy the Kid. History tells us he was shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett in Fort Sumner, New Mexico, in 1881. But what if history got it wrong? For decades, whispers and theories have suggested that Garrett, perhaps out of a secret friendship, killed someone else and allowed Billy to escape. Several men later came forward, claiming to be the infamous gunslinger, living out their lives under new identities. The most famous was a man named Brucey Bill Roberts, who, in the late 1940s, tried to get a pardon for Billy's crimes, claiming he was the real deal. His story was incredibly detailed, but he died before it could be verified. Was Billy the Kid buried in an unmarked grave? Or did he pull off one last great escape and die an old man? The debate rages on. And what about another legendary outlaw, Jesse James? We know he was killed in 1882, but what about his loot? For years, James and his gang robbed banks, trains, and stagecoaches, amassing a fortune that was never fully accounted for. Legends say that James, paranoid and clever, buried caches of gold and stolen money all across the Midwest, from Missouri to Oklahoma. He supposedly created coded maps and cryptic clues to find his hidden treasures, just like the Lost Dutchman's mine. These stories have inspired generations of treasure hunters to dig up fields and explore caves, hoping to strike it rich. While some small discoveries have been reported, the vast majority of Jesse James's legendary gold remains unfound. Was it all spent? Or are there still millions waiting to be discovered under a quiet patch of American soil? Let's shift our focus from outlaws to their mysterious companions. Meet Etta Place, the enigmatic partner of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. She was beautiful, intelligent, and a skilled rider and shooter who rode with the Wild Bunch. But who was she, really? Her true identity is one of the great puzzles of the West. She disappears from the historical record completely after 1909. Was she a school teacher, a brothel worker, or someone else entirely? Theories abound, but there's no solid evidence. Some say she returned to the United States and lived a quiet life under a new name, while others believe she met a tragic end in South America. Etta Place rode into history alongside two of its most famous outlaws, and then vanished like a ghost, leaving us with nothing but a few photographs and a whole lot of questions. Now, we venture into a darker chapter of the West. The Mountain Meadows Massacre of 1857. In this tragic event, a wagon train of about 120 immigrants heading to California was attacked and killed in southern Utah. While early reports blamed Paiute Indians, the truth was far more complex and horrifying. It was eventually revealed that a group of local Mormon militia, disguised as Native Americans, were the primary perpetrators. But why? The official narrative has shifted over the years, with blame being placed on a mix of war, hysteria, local leadership, and a desire for the immigrants' wealth. Despite investigations and a few convictions, many believe the full story of who gave the orders and why has never truly come to light. The site is now a National Historic Landmark, a somber reminder of a brutal event whose deepest motives remain buried in the past. From the earth to the sky, our next mystery is truly out of this world. Long before Roswell became a household name, the small town of Aurora, Texas, had its own alleged UFO incident. According to a local newspaper report from 1897, a mysterious airship crashed into a windmill on a local judge's property. The pilot, described as not of this world, was said to have died in the crash and was reportedly buried in the local cemetery. The story was largely forgotten for decades until UFO researchers rediscovered it in the 20th century. Investigators have since tried to find the alien's grave and any remaining debris from the craft. While some claim to have found unusual metal fragments, attempts to exhume the alleged grave have been blocked. Was it a genuine extraterrestrial encounter, a misidentified experimental aircraft, or simply a clever hoax by a local journalist to put his town on the map? Finally, we head to Adams Canyon in New Mexico, another tale of lost gold that has captivated imaginations for generations. The story begins in the 1860s with a man named Adams who, after being led by a Native American guide, found a canyon with gold nuggets as big as turkey eggs. Adams and his fellow miners began hauling out massive amounts of gold, but their good fortune was short-lived. They were attacked, and Adams was one of the few who escaped with his life. He spent the rest of his days trying to relocate the canyon, but was never able to find it again. He described a unique Z-shaped canyon and two distinctive peaks. But the landscape of the West is vast and unforgiving. Countless searchers have tried to follow his vague directions, but the legendary Adams dig, a canyon with gold just lying on the ground, remains a tantalizing myth. From lost treasures and vanished outlaws to unexplained tragedies and strange visitors from the sky, the Old West is more than just a chapter in a history book. It's a landscape of enduring mystery, where fact and legend are often impossible to untangle. These stories remind us that even in a time we think we know so well, there are still secrets waiting to be unearthed. What do you think's the most compelling mystery of the Wild West? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for riding along with us today. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more adventures into history's greatest unsolved puzzles. Until next time, stay curious.